Welcome back to episode 2 of Backseat Driving. I'm just excited because I really want to be consistent and I'm already a couple days behind. I wanted to upload this video a few days back and I'm doing it late, but at least I'm doing it, so I'm excited. We're not in a car today because honestly it doesn't matter. As long as you get the metaphor, it's fine. Any location you're in can serve as the metaphorical backseat that you're in. Today I want to talk about repression and shadow work because it's something that's been jumping out at me a lot, related to parts of me that were previously being repressed, that were just done with everything and just wanted to have an outburst. I'm learning to say that that's okay. I think we all need to be kind to parts of ourselves that we are being mean to and we shame and we try to get rid of. Repression can be a very strong tool, but before I get into that, let's start from the top. The reason why I want to talk about this is because I now genuinely believe something's happened to you, because you are meant to see the part that you're repressing and accept them, and you are meant to meet your shadow. I had, like we had bumped elbows a couple times, maybe saw each other in the distance, and then we would just like, okay, whatever, like carry on with life. But this time, I really had to wake up and face the music. I had to wake up and smell the flowers because no one is going to accept you unless you accept yourself. If you keep trying to change the parts of yourself that make you, you, then why would you go around expecting other people to accept you wholeheartedly? If you aren't kind to your shadow self, why would anyone try to be understanding of where that self comes from? This is a book that has really helped me do that. I'm halfway through. I will definitely have more things to say about it once I'm done. When you repress your shadow self around people and then it's done being repressed, all of this pressure has built up. It's had it up till here. It's just gonna have a crazy outburst. That is when you act in emotionally dysregulated ways, and that is when you can have reactions that are disproportionate to what is needed. You have been repressing and pushing it down and down and down, and the further you push it down, the more the pressure builds. So when it finally comes back up, it's going to just like destroy stuff in its path. Let's say I was people pleasing a lot and just kind of repressing all my emotions, and every time that I felt bad and every time that I felt betrayed or hurt, when all of that finally came up to the surface because I had been repressing it, I was like, I don't want to deal with any of this. This is so bad. I was so hurt, and it was a big all or nothing reaction. It was definitely needed, but all that pain and all of the turmoil, it is because you have been repressing. So if we actually sit and listen to what that shadow self is saying and we take everything at face value and then we move according to it, that repression just won't happen. I would have probably more peacefully removed whatever had to be removed from my life or set the boundaries that I had to set, but I didn't, and it all happened in this way. I genuinely now believe that some relationships come into your life to reveal your shadow. Your shadow craves exactly what it didn't get when you were a child. Maybe it'll be a very similar kind of person to the parent who didn't give you what you needed as a kid. You will become obsessed with trying to close that open loop. And the loop in question is, this kind of person when I was a child didn't give me this. Now, when I'm older, there's a similar kind of person, and I can communicate my way through getting this from them. And that open loop will be closed, and I will be fulfilled, and everything will be happily ever after. It's like something possesses you, and it's like this open loop is going to be shut. You are going to get what you want. Your needs are finally going to be fulfilled. Guess what? Your needs cannot be fulfilled by anyone but you. This person who you are trying to influence and control to give you what you didn't get, they will eventually leave and they will not close that open loop for you. They will not give you an alternate happy ending, and that will make you really sad. It will make you really sad and it'll destroy you for a bit. But if you're able to alchemize that into really seeing yourself more deeply and understanding yourself deeply, it is such a good exercise in realizing that you first need to accept the part of yourself that craves XYZ and that was begging for XYZ and didn't get it. Because when you accept it, when you find healthy ways to give yourself that, you'll stop the repression and you'll stop the mindless, crazy rabbit hole that you go down when you're trying to convince someone else to give it to you. Okay, naming the part of yourself that you've repressed, I don't think it's that difficult. The longer that part of you has been repressed, the more aggressively and strongly you will try to ask for it from another person. You'll try to control them and get them to give it to you. So, yeah, whatever that thing is for you, that is probably what your shadow self wants. And those kind of cravings are what you need to look into. I'm not going to say cravings, those kind of needs are what you look into because they're genuinely needs. I am currently in this process right now. I've definitely not gotten out of it. We're never done. We're never done with that. We're always, we always have work to do. But so far, my understanding is compassion. Speak to your shadow self like a child who is throwing a tantrum and is, frightened or scared or angry and is having an outburst. Realize that the reactions are secondary emotions to, the basic emotions of fear or not feeling safe, unwanted, unworthy, those kind of things. It's really interesting work. This kind of work genuinely lights me up. I get so happy to kind of delve deeper into my psyche. I don't know why I didn't look deeper into shadow work. Yeah, I just think, you need to go through certain experiences so that you're pushed to accept certain aspects of yourself. The process so far has been very mental. Before I became this person who was a bit hard to deal with, I was repressing a lot of myself. Would absolutely hate it if someone called me emotional or sensitive. I would just be like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not. I'm so strong. All of that. I would actively be friends with people who were mean to me, and I would not draw boundaries, and I wouldn't speak out that much. It would just keep ruminating in my head over and over again, and it was just like there. It was just up here. But then I started talking about it, and a lot of people didn't take that well, which is great. And I think all of that happened because somewhere I found the confidence to speak up for myself. I think it's because I started putting myself out there more and talking about my experience, and I was just growing and learning as a person and becoming way more confident. And I was able to put certain ideas across, and I said things like they are. And I also started to have these massive realizations where I was like, why have I been dealing with all of these things? Like, all of these things that are sitting inside me, but I've repressed, and then suddenly they come up to the surface. This is how it was for me. It's like a random day, and I'm just sitting and watching a video or something, and I'm just like, why has all of this happened with me? Like, why have I allowed people to treat me this way? That is kind of the outburst, suddenly being overwhelmed with a lot of feelings and a lot of emotions. Now you want to kind of deal with it and address it, and doing that is hard. Like, it's difficult to figure out when to do it, how to do it, if you're doing it the right way, if you shouldn't do it at all, and just kind of leave and cut people off. But those emotions will be really strong. And that's what I mean by the overwhelming outburst, right? Because when you realize like all of that stuff that you've been repressing. I can be a really big people pleaser. It's just that I know now and I'm actively trying to change that. But yeah, there's no point trying to repress the standards that you have, make people think that you're not as sensitive as you are or not as emotional as you are. Yeah, there's just no point in trying to act like someone else and in trying to act like you don't have those traits that you're trying to suppress. It's not going to go anywhere nice, and at the end of the day you're just going to end up coming back face to face with that shadow self. When you stand shoulder to shoulder with that other part of you and something happens and you're like, okay, listen, I understand, and yeah, you're right, like, we're gonna do this about it, I'm here, I'll take care of you, it's fine, then you're good. You're not gonna have an outburst, you're not gonna try to control someone else to give you what you need, you're not gonna feel like you can't provide those things to yourself, because that's such a scary feeling. It's hard, and I'm trying to do that right now, but this is what I have so far, and I hope it helped you. People pleasing is a really common example of when you have a repressed self. Have you been dealing with something similar? If you're already doing this, what tools have you been using? How's the journey been for you? Other than that, please let me know what you thought. I'm so happy that I'm doing episode 2. I want to stick to this, I want to stay consistent. This is genuinely so healing for me. I think a huge part of my own shadow work is to talk about things finally, tell other people that, this is who I am, and if you're like this or if you resonate with it, I want to share this with you. Doing that helps so much. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I get to do this. I have a really fun month coming up. I've planned some cool things. I'm really excited, and I'm gonna just try to keep documenting that here. Okay, bye.